Welcome to our homestead here in southern Vermont, 4 acres. Top 5 things I'm glad I've done with my backyard chickens. Let's talk about it. Number 1, I built my own chicken coop. Chicken coops can get really expensive. You can easily spend $1,000 or more on a chicken coop. Now this thing, well, it's looking a little ratty right now because I have all the doors open. I'm about to throw some hay in there. But I got to build my chicken coop exactly the way I wanted to. I would build it differently next time. That'll be for top 5 things I wish I did differently about chickens. For today, I'm really glad that I built my own chicken coop. This is all reclaimed lumber. We built it a long time ago on a very early 4 acres video. But I'll link it up there, or maybe there. But this cost me almost nothing. I even think I reused nails and screws, so I'm not sure I had to spend any money on this at all. The windows I found on the side of the road. So in terms of getting things going, building your own chicken coop is a great way to go. You shouldn't be afraid of that. Number 2, I'm glad I got a diverse flock of chickens. It's hard to see them there in the grass, but there's 3 or 4 different breeds. We have 1 barred rock, we have some Rhode Island Reds. But it's nice to have a flock that looks different and adds a little color to your life. So I'm glad I got a few different breeds when I was getting chickens. They also lay different colored eggs. Number 3, these girls are free ranging. I'm really glad I let them free range. The biggest benefit to letting your chickens free range is that they eat ticks. Our dogs, which come out here, and I think I hear them on the deck now. There they are, doggies! They haven't been bringing any ticks inside at all, and it's all due in large part to our free-range chickens. But Michael, you say, what are the downsides to letting your chickens free range? Well, there's 2 as I see it. 3, I suppose. Number 1, if you're not careful, they're gonna get eaten. And it's a bummer to have your chickens eaten, especially when you've put a lot of time and energy and food into feeding them and caring for them and making sure they give you eggs. Number 2, they poop everywhere. That could be a plus, right? They're fertilizing the lawn. Look how green the grass is. It's lovely. It is a bummer when they poop on your front steps and you step in it right before you walk in the house without realizing it. It's mostly a bummer because then you get yelled at by your wife. Love you, honey. Number 3, if you let your chickens free range all day long, you have no idea where the eggs are. I found a stash the other day. I had to test some of them. You can do a float test on your eggs where you take them and you put them in a pot of water. If they float or stand up on the long end, they're bad. If they stay level with the ground, they're usually good. And then of course, if they're still good and you think maybe they've been around for a little while, I'd crack them open and do a sniff test just to make sure. I am excited because I just found a stash of eggs. Take a look. Do you see any eggs? I don't either, but check this out. Behind the pitchfork and the snow shovels, I found eggs. So that's awesome. I'll have eggs for breakfast tomorrow morning. Thank you, chickens. So I buy hay from a local farmer, and I just buy their crap hay that they're gonna try to get rid of super cheap. And then I just toss a bunch in the coop, give them a little bit of bedding, and it'll be a little easier to clean. And then I take some and I put them in the nesting boxes. And with all this hay and chicken food and everything else, I highly recommend if you're gonna have chickens, you should also have a couple cats. We have 3 cats here at 4 acres. You know how many mice I've had inside the house? 0. Cats do an amazing job of keeping the mice down, and I don't really ever have to worry about it. Plus, they eat less that way. And I have to feed the cats less, and they're doing a good job of eating 100% organic, free-range mouse. I've also learned that the chickens will make their water a giant mess if I don't have the water up high. So I've been keeping the water on a couple layers of pressure-treated wood there. It's a little higher up. Water stays much cleaner, doesn't get as dirty and gross. In the wintertime, I put their water in this rubber dog bowl because when the water freezes at night, which it will, I'll just flip it upside down, kick the ice out, and refill it with warm water. In the spring and summer, I've been using this for their feed. I give our chickens a crumble that I buy at Tractor Supply, and I had horses in the 80s and 90s, so I use a metal can to feed them. Number 4, chickens are excellent composters. I bring lots of table scraps from inside out to the chickens for them to eat. If the chickens don't eat it, I know that was a meal I shouldn't ever cook again. But for the most part, they'll eat anything I bring out there, from old birthday cake to last night's mac and cheese to the very salty waffles I made the other day when I accidentally mixed up the sugar and the salt. Incidentally, if I ever start a breakfast joint, I'm gonna call it the salty waffle. And finally, the 5th thing I'm glad I've done with my backyard chickens is just pull the trigger and get backyard chickens. It's a little intense at first when they're chicks and they're under a heat lamp and you have them in your basement or your garage or your kitchen. It seems like a lot, but I'm really glad I've done it, and it's great to get fresh eggs. The difference between eggs you get from your own flock and eggs you get at the grocery store is pretty amazing. So I'm super glad I've done it. If you're on the fence about whether or not you should get backyard chickens, pull the trigger, get backyard chickens. Well, and there you have it, the top 5 things I'm glad I've done with my backyard chickens. I want to thank all of you for hanging out with me here on my homestead in southern Vermont, 4 acres. It means the world to me that each and every one of you hangs out here and watches what we're up to. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Always do the best you can with what you've got and go order some chickens. I'll see you around. Take care. Don't eat the spray foam. Don't eat the spray foam. Hey, hey.
It's not a worm.
The R value of my chickens is amazing.
Let's do it.